Welcome live into the studios of Jeff Green's house, the JGH studios here tonight. As we are back, thank you all for your understanding for the last few weeks. We had a little bit of stuff going on, but we're back. And what are we back for? We're back for March Madness. It kicks off tomorrow. We've had the first 4 games in, 2 last night, 2 tonight. Tomorrow, though, it all kicks off. I hope you have
the real games.
The real games. Well, these are real games because you don't.
I'm curious. You say it's real games, so Nebraska hasn't ever won a NCAA game, right?
Yeah.
So if we were in a playing game and we won that playing game, would that count?
Yep.
I don't think so.
Well,
no, I don't. I
I'm so glad we did have to do a playing game.
You have to win that game to be able to get into the tournament, so it's actually considered a tournament game. So it's
like an extended conference game.
They take 68 teams now instead of 64. So
I guess
you can look at it whichever way you want.
Kind of like the Nebraska women tonight. They're playing a playing game.
Yeah.
If they win, yeah, they're going to win a tournament game.
But the good news is they've already won a tournament game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not trying to get that monkey off their back.
They're not the only Power 5 team
that hasn't.
That's never won a conference.
And good news, we're not in that situation. But you know, that's my thing about the playing game. If we would have won the playing game and then lost again, that'd be like kissing your sister.
Well, that's why Texas won last night.
Yes, they did. I mean,
That was terrible.
because they are kissing their sisters.
That was what they do down there. Well, good evening again, everybody. Welcome to another edition and a March Madness edition of Tailgate Talk Nebraska. With us, as always, out in Colorado. Are you in Colorado tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I saw the backwards hat. I figured you were. Brian down there. Brian Cook down here on the end, wearing. Oh, you got
Denver, Nebraska. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Jeff Green, our little gracious host, and myself, Derek Long, will be with you here for around an hour-ish or maybe a little bit longer, depending on how in-depth this gets tonight, guys.
Yep.
But guys, the tournament starts tomorrow. We just hit on it a little bit. Nebraska takes on Troy. And Nebraska looking for their very first March Madness win ever.
It could have been a worse poll.
It could have.
You know, Troy though, there's not a lot of tape on them. There's not a lot of. They didn't play a lot of people, so you really don't know how they're going to react to our defenses and things like that.
Right.
But Nebraska needs to be Nebraska. We need to go out there, shoot threes, hit them confidently, and play good defense.
The one thing, not to put a downer on this, we've had trouble with big men over the season.
Yep.
Troy's 3 leading scorers, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". They like to pound the rock down on the inside. They did play one Big Ten team earlier this year. They played USC. 3 overtime. USC beat them 107-106, so they played with them. Not saying USC is a good team, but that was early. So,
Man, we were really good early.
yeah.
I mean, we started out 20-0.
Yeah.
And then 6-6.
Yeah. Things happen, you know. But
that's the problem though, is we talked about how Nebraska was a 3-point shooting team and they were shooting really well from 3.
Yes.
Really well. Weren't they like 50% or something like that for a while?
52.
From 3? Yeah, so that's just not sustainable. You knew it wasn't going to last for the whole season. So the only thing I have a thing with Nebraska is that they rely on that 3 so much that the tournament could play a whole another level for them. Look at the Big Ten tournament. They were a one and done. You know, it's just.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
One and done, but that was the third time we played Purdue, or second time we played Purdue. But everybody's got 2 shots at us, 3 shots at us.
Yeah, well, and Purdue ended up going on to win the Big Ten tournament. So
awesome. I was about to go there. You know,
so
they handled Michigan handier than they handled us. Michigan never had a shot at me.
I'm going to give Nebraska their roses. I think they get by this game. I really do. I think they come in and handle this game pretty easily. I just think it stops there. I don't think they get much past that. So
Really? Because let's talk about who they might play.
Vandy.
We got Vandy and we got McNeese State. 12 seed
Both
versus
are-
5 seed. 12 seeds have a 42, 43% win percentage. Every other year, 2 12 seeds win. Now we end up playing the McNeese State, which are all small guards. They play right into our hand, and Vandy's not that.
They're talking about McNeese State being one of the bracket busters.
Absolutely.
So who
I
knows?
got McNeese State going to play Nebraska. Nebraska getting out of the first weekend.
Who won the Southeastern Conference tournament? Thank you. It was Vanderbilt. So,
Purdue won ours.
Yeah.
They were the number 5 seed.
teams get hot at the right time.
You know, the conference tournaments, those are so overrated on the power play of where teams are, because Michigan is still the best team out of the Big Ten.
They are.
Purdue beat them bad, but they're still the best team out of the Big Ten.
Michigan has nothing to
Uh,
play for.
I just
And same with down there in the SEC. Everybody had their spots already sealed, and then Vandy come pounding through there. You know, yeah.
But Vandy improved their seeding because of winning that.
But I still think Florida is the best team out of the SEC. I don't
Yep.
think Vanderbilt, Alabama.
But Alabama
Tennessee-
lost their guy.
Yeah. Well,
so they're talking about Bama not even making it out of the first round now.
They're possible.
and Louisville's playing without their big stud in the first round.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing you got to look at is injuries happening on these teams.
Or arrests, or reasons why people aren't playing. There's things that going on in the heads and in the locker rooms going into the big dance. I mean, like the biggest thing for Nebraska, for example, is the head game. Are we going to go out there because there's so much pressure on them from the fan base, from the state, from Hoiberg to go win this game?
Jeff,
Lay an egg.
you hit the nail on the head right there. Is how strong is Nebraska mentally? I don't think they're an overly strong team mentally. Hence the way they lost to Purdue. Purdue handled them easy. It wasn't really a game.
Your game isn't one that bothers me. It's how we lost to UCLA that bothered me. It's how Iowa came in, and I know it was an overtime game, but they should have beat us. They should have touched us, and yet there we were, fucking losing to Iowa again. I just can't stand it.
The one constant I could say about Nebraska is Sam Hoiberg and the defense. It's been very consistent, very good all year long. Those two factors show up, they'll win that first round game. I'm not worried about the 3-point shots. I'm worried about they're going to lose some of their mojo on defense. Is Sam Hoiberg being able to be slowed down? That's the big key.
Yeah.
Well, we will find out at 11:20 something tomorrow, I believe, is tip-off for that game
It's
between Nebraska
11:20.
and Troy. So, for those of you who are going to work tomorrow, I hope you have a laptop or a phone or something that you can watch it on. For those of you who are calling in sick tomorrow, I applaud you.
I'll be sitting in a chair watching
Yep.
NCAA tournament all day long.
Well, let's talk about the top four. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Florida, your top 4 seeds going into this tournament. Do you see this tournament going chalk? Can you see those 4 teams all making it to the Final Four?
No.
It's the strongest number 1 seeds in a long, long time. All number 1 seeds made it last year, but this year the number 1 seeds are very strong, but only one of those top 4 make it.
Arizona.
No.
I got 2 of them making it. I got Arizona, Michigan.
You can see Arizona's a good team, but
I've got Duke and Michigan making it.
Kansas taking out Duke.
No.
uh,
Unless
wrong.
Bill Self benches Darren Peterson, who is considered to be the top pick in the NBA draft next year. KU plays much better when he is not on the court. A very uber talented young man. But there's no gelling when he's out there on that court, and they've lost some big games when he has played. They've won some big games when he hasn't.
They beat Arizona when they had to.
Without him.
That was without him.
That was without him.
Oh, maybe he'll
I
certainly
think-
put it in.
I honestly think Kansas is kind of a wild card in this. It just kind of depends on what Kansas team shows up, like you said, Derek. It just kind of Kansas has the ability to go through. They
I think
do.
Kansas gets by St. John's. I think they're in
I
a really
don't.
good spot.
They will.
I have St. John's going to the Final Four.
I'm going all the way to the Final Four.
St.
Yeah,
John's?
there are two sleepers people need to remember here, St. John's and Arkansas. Why? Because the Italian coaches they have coaching the team, they've been there, done that. Rick Pitino and John Calipari are two of the best ever coaches in NCAA basketball. And I've got them as the two big sleepers. I've got both of them going to the Final Four.
Well, St. John's
Number one.
didn't St. John's get to the would they get to Elite Eight or Final Four last year?
It was the Elite Eight. I don't think they made it to the Final Four.
But they played that Final Four game close, or what would have put them in the Final Four game.
It was SEC heavy last year in the Final Four, from what I can remember about
Yeah,
Florida.
But St. John's was a good team last year. They were knocking on the door last year. So
not without Chris Mullen.
They got the athletes, and they got two of the best coaches in the NCAA. Rick Pitino, John Calipari. Calipari is used to cheating to get his way, but he's got a good Arkansas team, good Arkansas guards. Watch out for those two sleepers, Arkansas to knock off Arizona, St. John's to knock off Duke, because of the coaching quality. And may I mention Kelvin Sampson while I'm at it? Number 2 seed Houston. There's 3 of my top 4 teams. The only number 1 team to make it on my bracket is Michigan. And Dustin May's a good coach. He just has experience. But I got Michigan because of talent.
Steve Fisher doesn't coach Michigan anymore?
I wish he, well, they'd be unbeatable if he did.
Stop it.
I thought Guy Lewis was still coaching Houston until you just said that. Tell me, or
Kelvin Sampson.
yeah, that guy. Krzyzewski's still a Duke, right?
If Krzyzewski was coaching Duke, I'd give Duke a walk all the way. Thank you, Jeff Junker. He's at North Carolina, baby blue bandwagoner.
I got North Carolina maybe getting beat first round.
I do too.
That's a good possibility.
So, well, I don't know.
I got UCLA knocking Houston out.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Brian.
Or,
Who are your Final Four?
My Final Four, let me pull it up. So my Final Four is St. John's and Florida, and then I have Arizona and Michigan are my Final Four.
Brian,
3.
you kind of gave us 3 of your 4.
Well, you got the number 1 seed Michigan in there, along with number 2 seed Houston, who knocks off Florida because it's in Houston, and Arkansas and St. John's, a 4 and a 5 seed because of the coaching ability of Italian coaches Rick Pitino and John Calipari.
Jeffrey?
Yeah.
I got Kansas, Illinois, Arizona, and Michigan. And I got Nebraska knocking Florida off before they even get to that point.
You got Nebraska doing that.
Yep.
Wow.
I got Nebraska and Illinois facing off, and Illinois beating them again.
Nebraska don't get past the second round.
They definitely
Not a chance. Not a chance.
As I said,
Not
it takes longer than an hour, depending on how heated this gets tonight.
I mean, we're looking at McNeese State in the second round. We got this.
Well, my Final Four, Duke with Cameron Boozer looks very, very strong right now. They have beat a lot of great teams, a lot of teams that are in the tournament. Duke has taken care of them this year. They've got 1 loss, I believe, to Texas Tech by 1 point, and North Carolina beat them by 3 down at Chapel Hill.
But that's a rivalry game.
What's that?
That's a rivalry game. So that usually them guys split. You know, it's just kind of how it is.
So I think Duke, I think they advance. I've got Houston going out in the South. I think they're a very strong team down there. I hate saying my Final Four because 3 of my 4 agree with somebody on the end, and now I'm thinking about going back and changing it.
See?
I've got Arkansas, and I've got Michigan, and those are my 4 Final Four picks.
So the only one we got different, he's got Duke, and I've got St. John's.
I thought you had Kansas. No, Jeff had Kansas.
Jeff had Kansas.
Yeah, St. John's is a decent team, but I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not sold on them beating Duke. I know they beat UConn twice this year.
Are you sold on UConn?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean, come
sold.
on. But I got UCLA taking UConn now early, second round. I have no faith in UConn.
Now, my one sleeper pick, and I hate to admit this one too, is Texas.
Stop it.
After last night, no way. That was absolutely terrible.
I
They
don't
should
know.
never
I
won that
just-
game.
I have them.
They lack coaching down there. When you throw in the coffin corner 3 straight times, get them stole or turnover, your coach is irresponsible about relaying that to the team. Either the team didn't listen to him, which makes him not a good coach, or other the coaches did
the
not
only thing working
do
in
the
Texas'
job.
favor is the fact that BYU beat them 3 times this year.
BYU
Yeah,
beat Texas.
for sure, dude.
They're not in the same conference.
Oh, you're right. But they did play in the they are 0-1 against them.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. I don't know. What's your biggest upset of the tournament, Brian?
Sorry.
My biggest upset. Let me look here. I know I did pick some. I got Akron over Texas Tech.
Yep.
Is probably. I think that's my biggest upset. Is Akron over Texas Tech.
And that's legitimate because I went back and forth because Texas Tech is beat up. They're not the same team as they were early in the season. They got some major key injury problems.
My biggest is McNeese over Vanderbilt.
I've got McNeese State beating Vanderbilt. I also have VCU beating North Carolina.
Legitimate.
And I have South Florida beating Louisville. I think Louisville is limping into the tournament, especially without one of their big guns coming up. And
Yeah, I don't see them getting by Michigan State.
then I also have High Point beating Wisconsin.
High Point?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a shocker.
Well, Wisconsin's an up and down team.
Yep.
I mean, one day they come in and they can beat anyone in the country, but then the next night they can lose to anybody in the country.
Wisconsin is one of those teams. It depends on how they're shooting the ball.
I mean, didn't Wisconsin lose to Penn State down the stretch?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a bad loss.
Very bad loss. So when we look at this, when you look at this NCAA tournament, in the past years, you can take a look at it and be like, all right, that team's going to be a lock. They're going to get out there. Or that team's going to be a lock. They're going to get to the Final Four. You know, and I know upsets happen. I don't feel that this year. Do you?
No.
I mean, it's like you go through that bracket and it's like, man, that team could win that game. I mean, and you're looking at, 13 versus 4, 12 versus 5, 11 versus 6. And you're like, God, that team, they could go on a run. That team, I've seen them play. They've been good. They've been bad. And there's just,
like the Midwest bracket. You got Michigan, Iowa State, Tennessee, and Texas Tech, and any of those teams can win that.
I'll go East bracket. Duke's got the toughest road. And you've got Michigan State at number 3 seed, St. John's, number 5 seed, Kansas University, a 4 seed, in the same bracket with UConn and Duke. That's a tough bracket, that East bracket.
and Duke was the number 1 overall.
Yeah.
They, out of the 4 number 1s, they were the number 1 overall seed. They went through the ACC tournament, which I'm not sure the ACC is what it was in the past years. I think they're down. The Big 12 tournament was strong this year. Iowa State, Houston, KU, and Arizona were your Final 4 there. The Big 10 tournament, you had Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, and Michigan State. So
Honestly, I think Arizona has the easiest path to the Final Four.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think Michigan does. I think Arizona, Arkansas, the way they're playing right now under Calipari, is a stumbling block for Arizona.
But that's-
Gonzaga may be a sleeper that people are overlooking. Gonzaga may not have the offense they've had, but they have great defense under Mark Few there. Don't overlook Gonzaga and Mark Few.
No way.
As much as I would like to see Gonzaga get over the hump and actually do something, they never do. Like they had their best team. What was it? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, somewhere in there. They went undefeated all the way through the season. It's just like Gonzaga can never get over that hump. They're always a good, decent team. It's just they never can get over that final threshold.
I think they will.
One time in the history of Gonzaga.
I just say, when you get down to March Madness, the best teams are guards. I mean, they have sneaky guards that control the game, control the input, and that defines where everybody falls.
I will agree with you at a certain point, but I think you're overlooking good coaches. Again, me and Brian have talked about the coaching aspect of NFL football. I'm talking about the coaching aspect of NCAA basketball. When you got a guy like Rick Pitino, been coaching for 50 years, John Calipari, been coaching and cheating for a long time, Mark Few. Don't overlook Dan Hurley either. Hurley is a great coach. Kelvin Sampson. This is great coaches that are going to lead their teams that are guard-oriented teams.
Yes.
Well, you're talking about St. John's being led by a great coach, right?
I'm sorry, I forgot Bill Self. I'm sorry, he's a good coach.
One of the winningest coaches still active.
I disagree. Bill
Self
Self is not that good of a coach.
Oh wow.
I grew up. So since Nebraska never was any good, and I wasn't a Nebraska fan, I grew up a KU fan for basketball. I follow KU. I really liked KU. I don't think Bill Self is as good as what people say. I think he's inherited.
He's not
inherited.
as Roy Williams was.
No, absolutely not.
Well,
but I think
he was as good as Dean Smith.
No, he was not.
No,
but you're right there. You're talking two of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
You're dropping the A list out there.
I'm sorry, but
the A list of active coaches by far.
I mean,
basketball, everybody
wow.
knows. Everybody knows whoever's the coach for the most part at Kansas is going to be able to recruit because it's Kansas. It's the mecca of basketball. Like everybody knows that.
Mhm.
I think Bill Self's just been a decent recruiter his whole career and been able to. They should have way more national championships than what they have. They should way more.
But that goes back before Self.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I'm talking about the bad showing against Bucknell in the first round. They were a great team that year. They should have never lost to Bucknell. There's been several times that they've been bounced in the first 2 or 3 rounds that they should not have.
I will agree with you on that. Bucknell beat them. Northern Iowa beat them.
Yes, yeah.
But would you consider Mike Krzyzewski as one of the greatest coaches of all time?
He's the best coach of all time.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's the best coach of all time, in my opinion.
How many times did he get bounced first round?
Good trivia.
3 or 4.
Okay, but
So if you're talking about
I'm
Self
just gonna
getting
put him at the
bounced,
top.
if you're getting bounced by Bucknell, Northern Iowa, I understand what you're saying about Self. But Krzyzewski had good teams, great teams. They got beat first round by teams they shouldn't have lost to. When it comes to the NCAA tournament, I mean, Roy Williams had 0 tournament wins or championships at Kansas. He got 1 at North Carolina. Larry Brown got 1 at Kansas, but he cheated like a what.
Yeah.
to get
One of the
that.
greatest teams came from Larry Brown against Billy Tubbs, Oklahoma and Kansas in the national championship game. That was unbelievable game.
Danny and the Miracles. Self has 2 championships. The one he got the year when Chalmers hit the 3 against Memphis.
That was beautiful.
Great game.
I was going to school in Kansas at the time. I was going to college. And when Chalmers hit that 3, the whole dorm exploded.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, that was probably one of the best runs that Kansas ever had right there. But
In 22, he was able to win and did not have that great of a team. I think he had
That was the 7 seed group, right?
No, they were a higher seed that year, but they were led by Grady. Brian Cook loves Dick, and that was they weren't they didn't have a ton of high, I mean, Grady Dick was a high recruit, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't like they had a dream team like you've seen with Kentucky when they bring all these great players in. Michigan brought in the Fab Five. They weren't able to win a title. Kentucky didn't win one with all those big time recruits. So,
Chris Webber's best moment.
Bill Self the last few years has had a lot of health issues, and he has declined in his coaching. I will say that. He's not the same guy he was a few years ago, but I think a lot of that has to do with his health issues. But I'm not putting him up there with a John Wooden or a Dean Smith or
Bobby Knight. How about Bobby Knight?
But
putting Coach K at the top without so willy-nilly like you did is wrong, man. It's just wrong.
Coach K's. I'm sorry, but Coach K is number one in my opinion.
He's not number one.
Yes, he is. But
it is so hard to separate those top five.
It is.
The names that we just laid out there.
John Wooden, Bobby Knights. I mean, God,
Yeah,
great coaches.
What do you got? What, seven?
Dean Smith.
What do you got, like 7 or something like that?
Wooden,
Championships?
Wooden was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was old school basketball, but before the 3-point line and all that, it was still basketball. It's still history.
I honestly wouldn't put.
I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't put Bill Self over Calipari or Patino.
he's with them.
He's with them. But you wouldn't put those two in the names that we just named. Now, Coach K, he's in that top 5 group. But
that's what I'm saying.
Jump one of them to the top. You just can't. I'm not on board with that at all.
I just don't think. I think Bill Self
is disrespectful.
I think
disrespectful.
I think Bill Self is decent at best. I don't think he's a great coach by any means. I just don't. I think he lacks in mental strength for sure.
I disagree. I think Bill Self is one of the best active coaches in the game.
I mean,
and when it's all said and done, he's going to have a resume that's going to put him in some good, serious talks.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
He's going to be remembered kindly.
Self did very well at Illinois before he came to KU. Even
absolutely,
he had some good teams there.
Nebraska offered him really good money,
but
and he turned us down flat. Took less money to go to.
Now you talked about Kansas, and recruiting at Kansas is easy because it's Kansas, right? So what happened in North Carolina?
I think North Carolina's fell off the table, but look at Duke. Duke lost one of the best coaches of all time, and they've just continued.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think that...
Well, he just continued. They had a couple down years right after.
Not really. No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Did they ever drop below like a 3 seed? No.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they did.
They were like a 5 or a 6 one year. I can remember not that long ago after Coach K left. But I mean,
but they're still competitive.
Yeah, they're still in the hunt for the ACC. But
they didn't almost lose. Like North Carolina almost lost the tournament a couple years ago. They almost didn't make the tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
When have we ever seen that? Like North Carolina, to me, like I've always liked North Carolina more than Duke. I've always hated Duke for whatever reason. I've just never cared for them. But North Carolina is just, it's like they don't care as much now that Roy Williams is gone. It's not the same North Carolina anymore.
I think they're focusing on other sports. They're a very good baseball team now, very good football team. So it's kind of...
No, they're not a good football team. They're not a good football team. I'm sorry.
Good football. Yeah. Yeah. Came from where?
Oh, stop it.
There are other programs there at North Carolina where Kansas is still initially a basketball school. North Carolina, pretty good baseball program now. They're getting better in football. I just think it's not as prevalent as it used to be. Like Kansas is all about basketball. Nebraska is all about football. No.
Right.
Fred Horberg, thank you very much. One day you might be listed in one of those top coaches. Fred Horberg
Watch yourself.
has changed
Watch yourself.
the
Watch
That's
yourself.
one of the top basketball coaches.
Mm,
and maybe years down the road. I mean, he's got a good start here.
that ain't where you were going with that, but you.
I'm sorry, but if you can turn,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but if you can turn Nebraska around, that's saying something.
That is saying a lot.
Lowest seed to ever win the NCAA tournament?
7.
Wrong. 8. Villanova. We're all in Massimino when he beat
yeah.
Georgetown that year.
Kansas was a 7 when they did it, right?
They were
Was Manning on
6.
them?
They were 6 that year.
Was it 6?
Yeah. So if you have to look at the 8 seeds and down, is there one that jumps out that could make that run? That could tie Villanova or could tie, break that record if they're a 9 seed or a 10 or an 11.
The one that stands out is UCLA.
They're a
Because they're
7
talented,
seed.
but they're limping into the tournament as well. But their coaches, I love their coach.
They're a 7. They're not. They're not
Cronen's a
under
great
that,
coach.
they're not under that threshold.
They're 7. Okay.
That's because I immediately looked at that.
I'm sitting here looking at it.
A&M's good.
Derek, I
They're
know
really
that
good
you
for
said
10 seed.
Derek, I know you said that Texas could be one of them teams. I just don't know. I don't know about Texas. McNeese State might be one of them teams that could make a run.
How about
That
a
was
team
30.
nobody's looking at or talking about, the Billikens of St. Louis?
See, they're
That-
flying under the radar.
That was one of my other ones I was kind of looking at. It was
There's a lot of people that have talked about St. Louis, and that team is sneaky, scary to some of these teams coming in. Somebody, I can't remember who, one of the experts, he's not on this show, so he's not an expert, but he had St. Louis going to the Final Four.
Holy
He
cow.
didn't have them winning it all, but he had St. Louis going to the Final Four, and
That's pushing it.
they would have to beat Georgia, then get by Michigan,
When Texas
and then
Tech.
probably Texas Tech, and then Tennessee or Iowa State.
I've seen Iowa
that.
State going to the Final Four.
You see them going?
I don't have them going, but I have seen them as experts picking them to go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
So
Sleepy team.
Now, how about the last team to lose a game this year? Miami of Ohio has to play a play-in game to get into the tournament.
I think that's sad. I think
do
that's
too.
sad.
I agree.
I mean, I think what they need to do, because they're doing this with 11 seeds. Okay,
I don't understand how you have a playing game for an 11 spot. They should
playing
take
game
all
for
4
the
of them.
16
Absolutely.
is what they should do in that situation.
Should be all 16 seeds playing.
I'm sorry, but how okay. I understand their strength of schedule is way lower. I understand that. But they went
Yeah.
They almost shouldn't be allowed to be playing for this tournament by who they play. There's a reason that they don't have an automatic bid in that conference because there's nothing there. They don't play nobody.
You make a valid point.
There's a reason they're playing a playing game, but they should be playing a playing game for the 16th seed.
But you need to go
Really though, should a team that was undefeated going into their conference championship or their conference tournament be playing in a
they
play-in
played
game?
Beatrice High School and McCallum.
1960.
I'm sorry.
That's all I'll say about it. Derek, you know what I'm talking about.
Southwest Texas State.
1969, Southwest Texas State. Now they're San
Down to San Antonio Bearcats.
yeah.
That wasn't 69.
Yeah, it was.
67.
You talking
Beat Kentucky.
the movie Glory Road?
Yeah.
That was like 64, 65.
Was it?
Was it? I thought it was
Texas
69.
Western is who it was.
Texas Western.
Texas Western. But
Yeah.
you leave a team out like that, you're losing history.
The 60.
You've got to have some of those teams in there.
But,
for those great
but
moments.
even that Texas Western, they played a Southwest Conference schedule.
1966.
66.
Yeah. But they played a lot of teams out of the Southwest Conference. They had wins over Arkansas. They had wins over Texas A&M. Even in the 60s, those are still big time schools. Miami, Ohio don't have a claim to fame on that.
Yeah.
Their best team.
I'm making
Their best team played for the state championship in high school.
I'm making a comparison here.
And lost.
Okay.
You're
I'm sorry.
Luster about upsets.
You're not.
I'm sorry, but it's a tournament of what, 60 some teams?
68.
68 teams. Okay.
So
They were
64.
they were undefeated until their conference playoff.
Yeah.
Okay. Give them an automatic bid. Who cares? They're definitely deserving of an automatic bid over somebody that's got losing record against teams with a winning record. I'm sorry, but they are.
All right, Brian, since you've been watching March Madness, NCAA basketball, what is the one, I guess you could use their song, the one shining moment you remember that just stands out to you from NCAA basketball March Madness?
I have to say it was the Mario Chalmers shot. Like, that was, you got to remember, I'm a lot younger than you guys. So, like, and I'm a Kansas fan as basketball going into this. That was probably the mecca for me. Like, that 3-pointer to put it into overtime, was amazing shot to me. I think that was, or the Villanova shot to win it at the buzzer a couple of years ago was an amazing moment. And as far as the college basketball tournament.
Do you remember who KU was playing that year?
Fuck, I don't even remember. Yeah, you would ask me. No, I don't remember off
Memphis.
the top of my. Yeah, Memphis. There you go.
Who they led by? Who was their big gun?
Derrick Rose.
Yep. Brian, what's your one shining
I
moment?
have two.
Okay.
Number one, Jim Valvano's remarkable North Carolina State team. That was incredible beating Houston. But I keep going back to 1988. That game between Billy Tubbs and Larry Brown, when Billy Tubbs had a favorite team, they were loaded with all kinds of talent, and somehow a one-man show from Kansas, Danny Manning. That's a memory I'll never forget. I know where he's at and remember what he's doing.
I don't know.
What was his name? Anyway, Jeff.
Mine are a little more mainframe. The Fab Five, we called that timeout. They didn't have one. I mean, that really made my day.
Let's clarify this a little bit. Let's clarify this a little bit. Because poor Chris Webber.
Poor Chris Webber.
Somebody on the bench told him to call timeout.
They were yelling at him.
Yeah,
And
it
he was
the
falling.
players.
And he was falling down. He was about to roll out of bounds and give the ball over.
Well, after he got the rebound, he almost traveled there.
Yep.
Then started dribbling, gets down court. Because
Either way, timeout or not, he wasn't keeping control of that ball.
No.
And he was not going to make the shot.
No.
And they were losing
Right here.
no matter what. But that was still
shining moment.
that was still a moment.
Yep.
And I loved it. And
Any others?
it doesn't if you like him or not. The Christian Laettner shot, I know it wasn't a championship game. It was the semis, but that was a moment that brought casual basketball fans into watching a championship game the next game.
Yeah.
Because
For God's sakes, there's a documentary, I Hate Laettner.
yeah,
On that
absolutely.
moment.
But yet, on the other hand, they love to hate the guy. But the guy did do those things. He had special moments in his life that, his NBA career was trash. He never became rich from it. He became a good motivational speaker. He made a good life for himself and everything. But he always could look back and say, yeah, I made that shot right down the throat. He had his moment.
growing up a KU fan, the Mario Chalmers shot, yes, that is high up there. The Danny and the Miracles, I remember that game very well, tied at 50 at halftime, and everybody thought we were going to go 100 to 100, but probably the first ever game I can really remember just watching the whole thing because I was so excited about watching the game. Patrick Ewing is a freshman, Georgetown, taking on the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and the Tar Heels.
Oh, what a game.
Jordan hits the shot late in the game, but what a lot of people don't remember about that game, Patrick Ewing had like 4 or 5 goaltending calls to start that game. By just rejecting shots, but they were coming down into the cylinder. And I mean, he was a freak of nature at that time. He was Shaq before Shaq.
He was the epitome of big man. And that game there started the rivalry between those two.
Yeah.
Because the Knicks and the Bulls, those were classic matches.
Yep.
The Knicks loved playing against them, but Jordan loved dropping points on
What
Patrick.
about Larry Bird against Magic Johnson?
Yeah.
Another great moment.
It was, but the thing about it was the talent that was on display that night. You had Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, all playing for North Carolina. You still had some other good players there. You had Patrick Ewing, you had David Wingate, you had Sleepy Floyd. And I can remember Sleepy Floyd making the pass to James Worthy when Georgetown had a chance to come down and win that after Jordan shot. And he passed it right to James Worthy, and Worthy just dribbled down, ran the clock out, game over. And that game
That's the greatest mental error of all time.
even worse than the timeout by Weber.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because there was a difference. Weber wasn't winning no matter what.
right.
Worthy could have sunk that shot.
Floyd.
Floyd, but
Well, somebody could.
Somebody could.
They could have got it into
That's
Ewing
right.
for a dunk.
there was things that happened.
Yep. And then Brian alluded to this one because it happened the very next year. North Carolina State, Houston. Houston came into that game with Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde the Glide Drexler, Pi Slamma Jamma. These guys were dunking fools. I mean, they could high fly
They
with
played
anybody.
fast. It was all about transition basketball.
There was one dunk in that game that I can remember. That was the last one. Lorenzo Charles caught the errant shot and dunked it in and didn't even know he'd won the game. He turned around like, did I do something wrong or what? And then Valvano's running around the court with his hands waving all over the place. And those 2 years is what hooked me to watching March Madness, just because of the excitement of the games down to the end. And, ever since then, there have been great ones, I mean, you could just go down every year. I don't know if you guys remember Dunk City in Florida, Gulf Coast University a few years ago. They were exciting to watch. They didn't make it very far.
The one and done format of such a big tournament is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it brings a level of excitement that you get in no other tournament.
Yeah.
I don't. You can talk NFL, you can talk NBA, you can talk college baseball, and you're not getting this level of excitement from start to finish.
No, because anybody out of those 68 teams after tonight's 64 could win it.
Yep.
Now, there's some teams on there that you probably know aren't going to. They probably know going in aren't going to. But man, if they can win that one game.
But
that one game is all they want to win.
15 players.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. 15 players to be in this tournament.
Yeah.
You're not talking 85 for football, or 56 for football, or
20-some for baseball.
20-some for baseball. We're talking 15 players, and 5 of them are making a difference.
Yeah. And most of these teams are going to play 8 to 9 guys, and that's it. Those other 5 to 6, I mean.
Well, how about what was that team last year that made it to the Sweet 16? They played 6.
Yeah.
They had that square-bodied white kid that could shoot from the locker room. He wasn't fast. He was, I mean, just didn't miss.
Yeah.
Well, just a couple of years ago, he had K State with the sharpshooter, or what was his name? I can't think of his name.
The point
Could hit
guard was
three.
just faster than heck.
Yeah, and now he's playing in China somewhere.
Yeah,
Like you know,
he
you know,
wasn't he
like
wasn't good enough.
but you got teams like Loyola, Butler, who came in and went to the final game against Duke.
Twice.
You know, yeah, twice.
He's like
You got
Xavier. You know, they're an inner city school that literally, you know, they don't have the axe scores to hold them back from recruit.
Marquise Noel.
VCU.
Marquise Noel.
See you.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, when you look at it, I think that is the biggest attraction. People filling out a bracket and thinking they're going to get the first ever perfect bracket
It's got to happen eventually.
in NCAA. Yeah, it's never happened, and you know everybody goes into this thinking, "Man, I got a good bracket this year."
Every time I think I have a good bracket, those are my worst.
Yeah.
The times that I'm like, I don't know about this. Those usually are my best brackets, the ones I'm not sure about.
And the thing is, people can pick this. I remember when Brian was working at the radio station, he would run a bracket busting contest every year. And one of my daughters was just picking teams because I would show her a picture of them, and she was picking them off their uniform. And I think she finished second that year in that thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so anybody can join these. That's the great thing about it.
Because no one's watched
You don't
McNeese State play.
You can't watch every
Yeah.
team all year unless you're on TV and that's your job to do it. You know,
And even then, you're not watching all 68 of these teams.
you're not watching High Point.
You're not. Until this year, I didn't know High Point had a team.
Are they Island? They in Colorado.
Oh, they're high.
Yeah, I know. Well, guys, March Madness starts tomorrow. Enjoy it. Enjoy your friends. We got a few minutes left. Let's shift gears. Let's go into NFL football. Let's go into free agents. Let's go into the draft coming up. All of that kind of stuff. What is the biggest free agent move you've seen all year, Brian?
Man, that's
Or
a that's
trade or anything.
I would have to say, I think that Kansas City signing Kenneth Walker is going to be a major high point for them. I actually saw a meme the other day that was perfect. Is like, who's stopping this offense? And it had like all these listed out players, Xavier Worthy, you know, all these games, and it's because more than likely they're going to get Tyreek Hill. More than likely, Tyreek Hill's going back to Kansas City. Rashid Rice, and it was the police is going to stop Kansas City's offense because, like, who are you gonna guard?
I'll tell you who's going to stop that Kansas City team is their offensive coordinator, who is downright terrible.
They got rid of him.
They did.
Eric Bieniemy.
Okay, well, I take that back. Eric Bieniemy is got solid. So
I'm
Well,
sorry, but
we realize he's not getting a head coaching job,
yeah,
and it's not because he's black.
What's that, Brian?
I honestly think, you know, for Seattle not to pay him was a mistake. I think Seattle should have retained him. Kansas City's going to be back next year.
I
They are.
Seattle thinks Zach Charbonnet is going to be a good replacement for him.
What happened to
if he stays
Pacheco?
healthy.
Pacheco went to the Lions.
Yeah, for David Montgomery.
When
Yep.
Montgomery went to the Texans, Isaiah Pacheco is with the Lions now, and him and Jahmyr Gibbs are going to be Sonic.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I honestly think I think that's what Kansas City was missing. Plus, Kansas City picked up an offensive lineman, I think, which was a huge miss for them. The only thing I think Kansas City's got a detriment at is they've let a couple of their major defensive guys go.
Yeah, they let
That's-
Trent Duffy and Jalen Watson both go.
Yeah,
But they
That's
did
going to be
get
big.
rid of Brian Cook, which is good.
Terrible move.
Brian, what's your biggest free agent move or trade or
Well, because of
off-season
it,
move?
I follow him, David Montgomery going from the Lions to the Houston Texans. There's a team that needs simply to delete their offensive coordinator, let their head coach take charge of there. That's their only downfall is their offensive coordinator there. But how about LA Raiders trading their defensive man to Baltimore and only getting shut back
Because he felt his physical.
because he felt his physical.
Mhm.
Shocking.
It is.
No, hey. I've heard that Crosby's team actually put the nix on that, is what happened.
The Raiders?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird situation because they signed a lot of guys that they may not be able to keep now because they signed N'Kobe Dean. They signed some other people like on the defensive side. They don't have the money now with Max Crosby. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to move him at some point in time.
Jeff, what's your biggest move?
John Harbaugh going to the Giants.
Yeah.
I know it's a homer pick, but it changes the whole
As
landscape
far as
of the
players, how about players?
players. Yeah, Montgomery's a good one, but
I agree with the one Brian mentioned. I mean, that's how Seattle let him go. I'll never know.
How do you let the Super Bowl MVP go?
That's
Like-
ridiculous.
Why? I don't get it.
One of my biggest moves happened just today, and that was Jalen Waddle getting traded to the Broncos. Miami let him go. He's now a Bronco receiver.
that's too bad.
But my biggest move, so everybody knows the Raiders are taking Mendoza,
Yep.
first pick overall.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bring in Tyler Lindenbaum, the center from the Ravens, who is one of the top 5 centers in the NFL, to give him that protection to start with, and then they're going to work on getting him some more protection. And Lindenbaum is a huge free agent signing the Raiders made. I mean, you talk about skill players and all that, but you get one of the elite centers in the NFL, and now you're going to bring a rookie quarterback in behind him. Mendoza's got to be like, oh man, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I take it back. The best move, complete sarcasm here, is Kansas City trading for Justin Fields.
Well, are your Eagles going to get rid of A.J. Brown?
They need to, but I don't think they are.
I think they
I don't think-
will come after June 1st because then they don't have to give picks.
But they did sign today.
Hollywood.
They signed Hollywood Brown. So
Which is, he's an okay receiver. I'm not going to say he's an elite in the NFL or anything, but if you've got Devontae as a 1, Hollywood Brown as a 2, that's going to give you a little bit more. But
Jordan Evans good.
Mike Evans is
Mike Evans.
now a San
49er.
Francisco 49er.
That's a pretty big move.
You know,
no, it's not. He can't stay healthy.
as a Bucks fan, I'm not 100% upset with that because like Brian just said, he can't stay healthy, and he is in the big downhill slide of his career right now too.
Yeah.
It's perfect for San Francisco.
Yeah, I
They
know.
fit right in.
I know. But we still have Godwin, we still have Ibuka, we still have Jaden McMillan. I mean, still 3 good receivers right
Yeah.
there. So, and then, you got the draft coming up. Everybody's excited about that. But, the Browns are making some moves. I was really shocked at that. And they're bringing in some decent talent. Another move that I really liked was Jeff's Giants bringing in Isaiah Likely. I
Yeah.
think he is going to be a good tight end.
He would be a good tight end. He'll be a good fit. He blocks well.
Yeah.
He catches well out of the backfield.
Michael Pittman Jr. was traded from the Colts to the Steelers.
Yeah.
And how about Kyler Murray going to the Vikings?
The Vikings, they can't seem to keep a good thing even when it's biting them in the ass.
No.
I'm sorry, but they should have never got rid of Sam Darnold.
Yes, you're exactly right.
And I'm sorry, but the Vikings, they supposedly have a quarterback guru as their coach.
Yeah.
You coach up Sam Darnold, and then you let him go.
If I
And
was the
then
owner, I would fire him over the Sam Darnold thing.
I'm sorry, but and you could even say Kirk Cousins, honestly. Why would you move away from Kirk Cousins for J.J. McCarthy? J.J. McCarthy, of all people, is who you're moving away from him for? Come
Kirk
on.
Cousins took them further than they've been in a long time.
Yeah. So did Darnold.
Yeah,
Darnold had a great year
absolutely.
with them. How about
Absolutely.
Tua going to the Falcons? I mean,
Oops.
the
I'm
Falcons.
sorry.
The Falcons have so much talent. They needed to go after a good quarterback. You've now got Michael Penix and Tua Tagovailoa. Neither one can stay healthy. Neither one throw a good ball.
I'm sorry, but would you, if you're Atlanta, would you rather have somebody like Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix or Tua?
I took Cousins.
I would take Kirk Cousins over all.
Yeah,
I don't,
absolutely.
and talk about a team that's selling
I would take
everything.
Tyler Murray over those other two guys.
I'm sorry, but a team that's selling everything is Miami. Miami sold away Tua. They sold away Waddle. They
Well,
released Tyreek.
they,
They
they,
uh
they, they,
re-
they have to start over down there.
Yeah. Their coach.
Everything they got has turned bad.
Yeah.
So they got to burn it down and start from scratch. They're on a
but
five-year plan.
why would you release Bradley Chubb? That doesn't make sense to me. He's a decent young defensive player. Why would you release him? That doesn't make sense.
We're about to have paying money this year.
I don't know. I think yeah, Miami's going a complete like sell
Yeah, they're
streak, and
burning
then
it down. They're
they're
going to burn it completely down. They're going to find themselves a new coach at the end of this year, and they're on a 5-year rebuild plan.
Yeah. Well, they already got
well, they just got a new coach.
McDaniel.
They
Yeah, they're not going to keep him long.
No, he's gone.
He's gone.
He's
Oh.
gone.
He may be one of the worst coaches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was bad.
But I'm sorry, but you give like you trade away or give away Tua for Malik or whatever his name is from the Green Bay. What's his name? Uh, yeah, Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like,
Well, the Jets think they've got the godsend in Geno Smith coming back. And I know Jeff was high on Geno when he was out in Seattle.
But you never know.
Yeah.
Look at Danny Dimes.
Okay, the Jets have brought in Aaron Rodgers. That was a bust. They bring in Justin Fields. That's a bust. Now they're bringing back Geno Smith, who had a horrible year last year with the Raiders.
Yeah.
And, that's a team that we haven't really said much about. Are the Raiders going to be improved next year? If
Yeah.
they keep Crosby, they've got some other additions they've made. You still got Genty. You still got Bowers. You bring in Mendoza to be a quarterback who is a proven winner.
The problem they got is they're in a really
Tough
tough
division.
division.
Yeah.
yeah,
They're
they are on a really tough division, but I think it just depends on what they do in the draft. Like, who do they put with Mendoza? They have one of the best tight ends in football, so he's got a security blanket there. But who else does he have as a receiver? Nothing. He doesn't have a receiver there. They need a receiver.
They'll address that in the draft, I'm sure. They'll
No.
pick up.
But they're loading up on defense is what they're doing. They're going to be a good defensive team, I think.
Well, Max Crosby is a contender for Defensive Player of the Year every year, in my opinion. But, you talk about the Ravens and the Raiders trade for Crosby, and they bring in Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals, who is, in my opinion, he's not even close to Max Crosby talent.
Yeah.
And I think the Ravens have taken a huge step backwards this year in free agency in the offseason. I I could see the Ravens finishing fourth in that AFC North next year.
There's two teams. There's two teams I think that have taken a huge step back
Right.
compared to that, and I think it's Denver and Philly. I think Denver and Philly. Denver hasn't done anything except for the Waddle trade.
Right.
They haven't done nothing. They just re-signed people.
Well, Denver was overrated last year, so they can't take too big of a step back.
And Philly has
But-
lost a lot of players.
Philly has lost N'Kobe Dean, Blankenship. They lost Jonathan Dotson on the receiving corps.
He
Yeah,
kept
they
Hurts.
replaced.
These are problems that must be resolved.
I honestly think Philly, out of the two teams that really didn't do anything this offseason, Philly's the only one that can absorb it because they had so much talent on that team. They just did. It doesn't matter how you like them or not.
Philadelphia is really good in the trenches, and that's why they're
Yeah.
able to absorb some of this.
Yes.
Denver, they're too high to absorb anything except more pot.
Do I think Denver's still going to be a good team? Yes. I still think Denver's going to still be a good team, but they needed what they shouldn't have done is they shouldn't have brought back J.K. Dobbins, and they should have went after they should have went all in for like a Kenneth Walker, or I feel really bad for Breece Hall because he got franchise tagged. He's stuck there, but like Breece Hall is a guy that they wanted to have on the running back core, but they just weren't able to get him.
I want you to imagine this, because from everything I've been reading and hearing, the Eagles, if they do get rid of AJ, will be traded to the Patriots, and now you'll have AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs on the same team together.
Oh, that's a cancer.
No. Stephon Diggs got released.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yes.
Right, he did.
But Denver was talking about going after maybe a Stephon Diggs or trading for an AJ Brown.
Well,
So
I think now that they got Waddle, they won't look for that.
I think that was a better move. Honestly, trading for Waddle.
Yeah. I don't know.
You got to have a quarterback that can throw deep enough for it.
Bo Nix has got an
Oh,
arm.
I'll run that shit all day long.
Bo Nix has got an arm. You
Bo
even
Nix is
were
a half-ass quarterback that did well behind a good line.
that offensive line was terrible.
Oh my God! You had the benefit of playing a weak schedule, and it's just such an overrated team.
They were a playoff team the year before.
They were a better team the year before.
No, they were not.
They were
Not a chance. You're high. You're the one that's high, dude.
Well, the draft coming up in about a month, so we'll be able to reanalyze how teams are going to fare out and what they're going to look like and how they did in the draft. And, last year, that was one of the funnest drafts I've ever had, sitting here,
Yeah.
watching that first round,
That was
watching
great.
Jeff Sweat that Shador was going to the Giants. I
told you all how
loved
that was going to be, and at the end of the day, what happened? Exactly what I said was going to happen.
it. I know, but you were sweating him.
Of course I was, because it was not going like I thought it was, but our guys stayed strong, stayed with the plan.
I loved it when the Giants traded for another first round.
Oh my
draft
God! When they scooted up and got Scatterboo.
pick. No, they got Jump Dart.
No, when they got Scatterboo, that's when I was really nervous because Shadur was still sitting there.
Well, that was like third, fourth round.
Yeah, and I was like, oh God, what are we doing?
But they also made a trade to get a pick late in the first round.
Yeah, but I knew that was going for Dart. I had no doubts. Braden was on the phone with me. He was getting this thing. He had me on the phone. He said, they're going to get Shadur. And I was like, they're getting Dart. And then they said Dart, and he went, click. That's funny, Because I was not worried at that point.
Yep.
I was worried that first one. That very first pick.
When you took Abdul.
Yeah, when we took Abdul, I was really worried that was the moment we were gonna. And then he was still around, and we traded up in the 4th round, and I was thinking, oh no, now they're gonna choke, because getting him cheap. Then they could have a quarterback battle. There's nothing wrong with a quarterback battle, but no, they stayed real strong and got Scadaboo, which was a great pickup.
Even though you guys all thought I was smoking something in Colorado with Brian when I was talking about how good Scadaboo was in Arizona State that year.
Well, we didn't know.
Larry Zonka type runner. You've got a great one.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just how long will he last?
He watched.
That's
his
the key.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and he didn't know it. I mean, he asked for that guy to help him up.
we are glad that you all tuned in with us here. We have missed all of you.
Yes.
We've missed being here with you. We're going to try to get this a little bit more. We're going to see how things work. We're going to try to figure some things out because we love spending Wednesday evenings here with all of you out there. If you have not done so, please go onto the Facebook, find our website, find our March Madness, and join it. We want to see how you guys do against Brian and Jeff and I, because somebody ain't gonna do good. But we want to see how everybody does. We want to look at it. We want to update everybody after each round or after each
Dude,
weekend.
doing this with you is kind of like doing this with my wife. It's like you're picking them because of the clothes they wear.
The coaches, Italian coaches.
Yeah, by the clothes they wear.
Italian coaches.
But we're glad you chose to tune in with us here. Please keep watching our Facebook post on when we'll be back on with you all. We're going to try to get back into this a little bit more, but we'll see how things go here, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But for Brian, Jeff, and myself, happy March Madness. I want to say one more thing. Good luck to the Nebraska wrestling team. The NCAA tournament starts tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We've got all 10 of our wrestlers there. Hopefully we can have another great showing.
Oh, one other thing, Nebraska women basketball
Yes.
is tearing it up right now. Last I saw, they were up by 20, going into the 4th.
It's Bob Votek.
Yes, whatever, it's who they pulled. And another thing, I thank for everybody that actually tuned in tonight. It's great to see you back on, Zach. I've missed you. I'm still going to talk shit about it on Denver. It's who I am.
And the final thing I want to say, congratulations to my daughter Gabby. Her OID speech team from Diller Odell made the state finals. They will be going out there a week from this Saturday.
Good job, Brianna.
And hopefully they will be able to bring home a medal from state. I think it would be great. It's speech, but hey, she does a really good job. She puts a lot into it.
Yeah.
And I just got to say congratulations to those 5.
Gotta have your moments.
Wish you guys all do well. But from all of us here, to all of you, enjoy March Madness. I hope your team does great, as long as I pick them. So, you've been watching Tailgate Talk, and
We
know sports.